Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Restoration Rundown podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to you, the restoration business owner, where we show you how to grow your business the right way. My name is Ben, your host, CEO of Ironclad Restoration Marketing, and today we're going to give you the top 4 reasons that you may not be getting enough property damage leads for your restoration business. Now, I put this little presentation together based off of a lot of years of talking to restoration contractors across the United States and kind of aggregating what we find here at Ironclad Restoration Marketing to be the biggest causes that are keeping them from getting consistent leads from the internet, whether that be water, fire, mold, storm remediation. These top 4 things really should shed some light on things that you may not be doing or be doing the wrong way that is hindering your ability to get those leads online and keeping you from beating your competition out. So the number one thing that we find here is skipping along. The number one thing is you just have no web presence. All right. So the most basic, and it sounds ridiculous to even say this, but you got to have a website. All right. We have talked to people who are paying for digital marketing, the keyword digital marketing, and don't have a website. They may think they do, but they've just basically fallen victim to the typical agency placating on the ambiguity of the service. They think they have some sort of weird landing page going on. They just have zero web presence. They don't have a website. So it starts with that. You got to have a website. You got to have a website that's built to convert traffic into sales. You need to have a strong web presence. Now here in my company and what we do for our clients is we preach the digital omnipresence method. So to maximize your lead flow online, you got to cast a very wide net, right? You don't want to rely on any one type of digital channel to get leads for your restoration business because there's a lot of times that these channels go away. Right. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, that shiny new object syndrome. So if you're one of those guys that bounces around all the time and tries 100 different things and really doesn't let it marinate, you're going to be in this boat of having zero web presence. So the minimum, claim a Google business profile, which is not Google My Business anymore. It's a Google business profile as of December. Make sure you have a website. Make sure that website is built out and properly optimized for Google to be able to index it. If you paid attention, one of the episodes that we recently released is all about how Google actually indexed websites. So if you listen to that and you don't have a website yet, or you have somebody building you one, it really should teach you what you need to be doing from a website perspective to make sure Google can properly understand who you are and serve your website in their rankings results from their indexing. Claim your social media profiles. Look, social media is an area of contention. The last couple years, whatever side of the fence you sit on, people either hate social media or they're on there all day hating other things. But the reality is for your restoration business, you need to have a social media presence. Okay. It's one of the ways that people vet out businesses. It's a really great way to build your brand. And in fact, that it is a branded asset that is worth money for your business. You don't want your competitors taking your Facebook pages. You don't want somebody with a similar name stealing your Facebook or your Instagram or Twitter. So it's a great place to enhance your brand. Social media is good for top of mind mentality, referral business for you. It's a place where you can get reviews. You can show off before and afters. You can place all your videos. YouTube is a great spot if you want to teach people things about your industry, show off before and afters, testimonials. Either way, you got to cast a wide net when it comes to your restoration business, and you got to have a web presence to do so. So every digital channel that makes sense for your business, you need to have some sort of presence there that you're maintaining. Again, I always go back to this. Last year, in the fall sometime or maybe late summer, Facebook and Instagram went down. So if you're a guy that strictly gets your leads from Facebook ads or Instagram ads, you were shit out of luck for 2 days. So, if that doesn't lead you enough, Google's a service too. Google can go down. They all use servers. They all use computers. There is a chance that things can happen. Not to mention, if you ever fallen victim to your Google business profile being suspended from other people reporting you, your competition is out there, and there are guys that do black hat versions of digital marketing and will target you and attack you. So again, having all your eggs in one basket is not ideal. All right. The number 2 thing that we see across the board when we're talking to people in the United States, restoration contractors, is they have zero consistency. Okay. So you want to lose weight, you got to be consistent. You got to go to the gym for a long time. You got to diet right. You got to take the right supplements, etc. You can't step into the gym one day and go step on the scale the next day and then give up, right? If you're not making making your weight or getting the results that you want. And the same thing goes with marketing or anything in your business or anything in your life. Consistency is the number one thing you need to make sure you implement. Okay, whether that's your craftsmanship or your digital marketing or marketing strategy, you got to be consistent. So a lot of guys we talk to have this shiny new object syndrome. So they go to a conference, they go to a restoration conference, they stop by 4 or 5 booths. They might already have an agency with them and somebody's got this new technology that's going to revolutionize how you get leads. 9 times out of 10, that's a bunch of BS, so it may work for the time being. But just keep in mind, if anybody is doing anything to circumvent Google's best practices or their guidelines or Facebook or Instagram's guidelines or practices, you're going to get blacklisted. And if you listen to this or you have done digital marketing successfully for your restoration business, you know that at a minimum, you need to have a solid foundation built with an SEO strategy. So that's going to get those organic results on a search engine. You got to have your Google business profile built out so you can get those maps rankings. You have to have these different social media channel pages claimed to create those backlinks and internal links for your website to show Google that you have authority. And if there's any kind of tool or plugin that claims that they're going to get you page 1 rankings and they're spitting out content, just be wary of it. But the bigger thing is if you have shiny new object syndrome, you kind of bounce around. So it lends into these other areas where we see this a lot, that there's zero patience. And I kind of understand it. Digital marketing takes a nice size chunk of it, marketing and money investment. And so a lot of guys are really, they're up your marketing company's butt. Where's my results? Where's my results? When if they would have taken the time to educate themselves, they'd realize that it takes some months to get this thing going. It could take up to 6 months to a year, depending on you or a competition, to rank on Google for the organic listing. So being patient, not having shiny new object syndrome when it comes to marketing your business is a big area of failure that we see, or trusting the wrong people. This happens a lot. We talk about it here in a company a lot, but you guys got to be careful who you trust. Okay, whether it's somebody's nephew that's an IT guy that's coming in, they're going to build you a site and they're telling you all this and all this and all this. You're trusting the wrong people. Do yourself a favor, educate yourself on what needs to happen. And make sure that you do your due diligence on anybody that you hire. Ask for results, ask for a strategy, make sure it makes sense. Like as complicated and as ambiguous as this type of stuff is, it is very simple. And one of my goals here is to try to simplify this so everybody understands what they're getting into and what to look out for when they're hiring somebody to handle their digital marketing, to kind of keep you from making that mistake that we see a lot of people make. So whether you have an in-house team that's telling you, promising you the world, and, look, after a couple weeks, a couple months, like, you're already going to know if they're really delivering or not. Yeah, it does take some time to rank on organic, but in that 3-month window, the minimum window, you should see some movement in keywords. You should see that all your on-page stuff is done. And that goes for agencies too. There's a lot of agencies out there that are just big sales floors. They already know that they're only going to keep a client on for 2 or 3 months because they have an out-the-box kind of program that doesn't work. All right. So again, educate yourself. Try to be patient. Don't bounce around from company to company unless you see these red flags that we talk about on our episodes a lot. They're not communicating. You don't get a good feeling about them. You don't see any type of movement at all. While you might not completely dominate in 3 months, you should see something tangible as far as keyword placement or at least work done on your website in that time. All right. And then the other one is you're just not spending enough. All right. So I see guys are a little wary to dip their toes into the pay-per-click area. I'm telling you, it's important. Getting that first page placement while you're building all these other things up and building your SEO authority up. You could have ads up there and you could be getting leads in, but sometimes you're just not spending enough. So spending not enough is almost as bad as spending too much and not getting any leads. So if you have an in-house team or you have a marketing agency, make sure that you're communicating with them while this campaign's getting set up to help them optimize it. You got to be available. You got to be present in your marketing strategy. All right. Number 3, you don't have enough or you have the wrong content. Now, this doesn't only go for your website, which we're going to talk about first, but same thing goes for your social media and your Google business profile or any other place that you're spending time or money on for marketing. So, the quick rule of thumb, if you want to get water damage restoration leads in your city, then you need to have a separate dedicated page for that service, that keyword in that city on your website that's properly optimized with the SEO, basics, meta tags, your H1 headers, everything's set up from an SEO perspective. You have to have that on your site with internal, external links. So every type of service that you feel like you need to get ranked for on Google, make sure you have a separate page for each one of those services and do some research. Check out your local competition. Check out their service pages. If they have like a ton of stuff, they have over 800 words, then make sure you have 800 words of keyword rich content. All right. Look at the top guys, what they're doing, and, use that as a basis at least, especially if you're doing this stuff yourself. All right. So separate page for each one of your services that are optimized. All right. Don't have that website that your nephew built or even an agency built. I've seen sometimes that just has like your services listed out in the bullet points and that's it. That's not going to get you anywhere. Yeah, it looks nice. It's like a business card, really. So you're not really going to get any leads coming in from that. A lot of times we see that people working with agencies don't have the proper on-page optimization. So if Google can't read your website from a back-end perspective, they're not going to know how to index you. So make sure that your on-page is done properly. That is step one. Guys, if you're hiring a marketing company to do SEO for you, that's the first thing that they should be doing as part of setup is going through all of your pages that make sense, the ones that you want to get ranked for, making sure the on-page optimization is done and make sure all those URLs are being submitted to Google for indexing. All right. Another thing we see is people aren't blogging consistently or blogging at all. But if you are hiring an agency to do SEO, you need to have blogs on there, whether it's a city landing page blog, an article, press releases, or some type of value-based content like what do I do if I find mold in my house? That's something where Google relies on fresh content. So if you want to get your site crawled and indexed more often, add content, edit content on your site more often. All right. That's another basic that a lot of guys are missing out on. We talk to guys all the time and ladies out there that run businesses that are paying for digital marketing, specifically SEO, and they don't even have the fundamentals going on from the company. I don't know what the company's doing, and I'm not here to crap on any companies or what they do, but we do see a lot where there is no blog, they don't have the proper on-page optimization, so we're left to ask, what are these guys doing for you? All right. A lot of guys out there are missing the buck. They have a Google business profile. If you don't, huge. We talked about that in the first slide. Make sure that you have a Google business profile. It's great for service-based businesses. And if it's done properly and it's properly maintained and optimized, that's where you're going to get helped ranking on the maps section a little bit more. And again, some things that are out of your control are proximity to your business, and other things like that. But things you can control is optimizing your page, making sure you set your service area correctly. But a big one people are missing out on is the posting capability. So on your Google business profile, you'll see a little area that says posts, and that posting is like gold. So if you can use that platform to talk about your services, you're able to put a photo there. We're going to have another episode here where we talk about how to post properly on that. But the basic is you can have a photo with a service that you provide, contact information. Maybe you're showing a before and after in a photo of somebody's house you just did. You're able to write a caption like on Instagram or Facebook, and then you're able to give them a call to action, whether it's learn more, which you can link to your website to that water damage restoration page if that's what your post is about, or you have a button where you can say call now. All right. That's going to help you rank in your local search area, especially if you have photos with EXIF data, which Google says they strip. But if you have something that says, here's a water damage restoration project we just wrapped up in Dallas, Texas for a client that's happy. Hey, if you need water damage restoration in the Dallas, Texas area, call us today, learn more by following this link, and the learn more goes to your page on your website. That's water damage restoration in Dallas, Texas. You're just going to get a little more juice out of that lemon than if you just threw a post out there with a picture. Okay. So learn your GMB, learn your Google business profile, how to post properly, make sure it's properly optimized. Another thing that you don't have enough or the wrong content, you got to show off, man. If you guys are putting out this really good work, people are super happy with you, and you're not showing it off, you're missing out on a big opportunity for something that's going to really help you with conversions, right? So you can send as much traffic to a website as possible, but if you don't have the right content to help kind of guide that person through the sales process, you may lose out to your competition. So the before and after stuff, outside of being great things to post on your Google business profile and your social media for top of mind mentality, it's a great way to help convert traffic into sales for you. All right. So if you complete that circle where you have a good web presence, you have the right content, you're putting before and afters, you get testimonials, and you have good reviews, what's stopping anybody from using you, right? So that's what you guys got to have to think about when you are crafting your marketing plan for your restoration business. Is you got to hit all angles. You got to hit somebody from all angles. We don't want them to escape, right? Once they Google search what they're looking for and you're there, make sure you're there everywhere where they might bounce around and your competition isn't beating you out. And again, the best way to do this outside of making sure you have the fundamentals is look what your competition's doing and just do it better. It sounds simple, but it really is. And the work that's between what you want to do and the goal is another story, but it can be done. All right. So making sure that you have content too. So when it comes to social media, we see a lot of companies out there putting their political, religious, whatever beliefs you may have. And that's great. But that stuff is better served for your personal social media profiles. Okay. Try to keep business, personal. Your business profile should be used as a tool to get you more leads. Whatever side of the spectrum, politically or religious, or just in your town, you might be mad about something going on. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a 50-50 split on what people believe. And you don't want something like that, something so trivial, to be something that keeps you from getting leads online. Okay. So keep the content fresh, keep it pertinent to your business. Now, the big one, and this stuff, again, we talk about things that you can control, things you can't control, right? You can't control how much money your competition's spending on Google Ads. You can't control how much your competition is spending on their just general digital marketing to get them up there. You can't control any of that. What you can control for your business is your own housekeeping. Look in the mirror. You can control your own work to make sure that you have a website, you have a good web presence. You can control the content that you're putting out there. You can control the amount of work and amount of money that you're putting into this to make sure you're building your digital presence the right way. And the number one big thing that you can control is treating your customers well. Whether that's how you answer the phone, or how you treat them when you're on the job. Customer service, and you guys know this, is huge in this industry. Okay. You already have to build up a level of trust with people. You're going into their homes. They're usually not in a good position or a good place. They've got some sort of catastrophic property damage. So keeping them happy is important, because if you want to get reviews, you want to get testimonials, and you want to get more referral work, then you have to do it. But from a fundamental standpoint, we see us a lot. If you're a guy that offers 24/7 emergency service and you're not answering your phone 24/7, right there, you're losing out. If you're not returning phone calls within 10 minutes, you're going to lose those leads. I mean, the percentages of close rates goes down so dramatically. If you don't, every minute that you wait to call them back, that your competition is going to be picking up the phone. Remember, you can't control your competition having 60 people answering the phones. You can't control that, but you can control yourself. So when it's hard enough to get those calls to come in to your business, make sure you're not wasting them. We see it all the time. Look, if you can't get to the phone right away, make sure you have a voicemail, and make sure you have a follow-up process that's like streamlined. You can automate all of that. Remember, everything from a marketing perspective and a sales follow-up can be automated, from phones to text messages. So you get a phone call come in, they get a text right away. Hey, we received your call. We're going to be calling you right back. You can send them to the website to fill out a lead form if you want about their damage, so you can get back to them quicker. Whatever the case may be, you can automate Facebook messages, and all this stuff can be integrated into a CRM into your business. It can be done. There's simple, cheap software that does all this. So there are no excuses for not answering the phone and not returning phone calls. And we get heated about this as a digital agency because, we are very confident in our work. We're very successful in sending phone calls and leads to our clients on a consistent basis. But we do have some clients, or we've had some in the past, because we tend to move on from them quickly, that aren't doing these things. And rather than looking at themselves, they are blaming everybody else, right? Hey, we're not getting any leads. Our phone's not ringing. We're wasting money here. And then when we look at their call tracking, we look at their logs, we find 15 mold removal calls or web forms that just never were followed up on. All right. So you make sure you have the infrastructure in place to be able to handle leads coming in first before you spend a bunch of money. Make sure you at least have a plan. Your sales process has to be part of that. How your person that's answering the phone answers the phone, how they get them to turn into customers is important. Again, all this information can be found online. If you're providing bad customer service, look, if you're grouchy and you're going into somebody's house and they're, again, look, you got pain in the butt people, I'm sure everybody does. That's business. That's being an entrepreneur. You got to treat them with enough respect and be able to manage conflict when they're unhappy in the right way so you can get good Google reviews and you can get testimonials, and more so they'll refer you out to their friends. All right. Customer service is a big part of this. And again, it's one of those things that you can control. And with reviews, when you're not doing all of this stuff, you're going to get bad reviews. I mean, I've seen reviews when we manage people's Google business profile that explicitly spell out, we called this company 50 times and they didn't answer us. And, after they came over or they bait and switched us on the price, just make sure you're doing the right thing. In your business and with your digital marketing strategy, doing the right thing, you will always come out on top. Stay away from the shiny new object syndrome. Do it right. Put in the work, and you will come out on top. Liken it to the tortoise and the hare. The rabbit took off running, burned that tortoise, fell asleep because he got too cocky. The tortoise stayed consistent, moved at his own pace, and eventually won the race. And your restoration business can do the same thing. All right, so if you want to win online, just to recap, guys, you want to build a solid foundation of traffic with SEO, with Google My Business work and pay-per-click. You can generate those leads right away with Google Ads. You got to get the map placement. You got to dominate page one. You have to be consistent with your marketing, be consistent with your customer service, be consistent with every aspect of your business and your life. You will win. Be present in the marketing efforts. Don't just call a company and say, I'm hiring you to get me leads, and hang up the phone, and then you're not present on marketing calls. You're not picking up the phone yourself. You're not doing your due diligence to understand the data that they're sending you. And then you're bouncing around because you think the company's not doing the right thing. Educate yourself. Buy my book, download the book, hit me up. I'll send you one for free. We're giving them away all the time. We really want you guys to educate yourselves on this stuff because it's important if you want to win. All right. We have a checklist that's free on our website, ironcladrestorationmarketing.com. Download it. It's free. You can educate yourself on, at least from a macro perspective, like a big picture, what you need to be doing. And then you can hold people accountable. I don't care if somebody's nephew's some brilliant IT guy and he said he's going to come in and change the world. Hand him the checklist and say, have you gone through this stuff first? Because the checklist isn't just something we pulled out of thin air. This is something we've developed over years of working in this industry, in the service-based industry, especially, even more so than that. And there are things that we update constantly in what we're finding and what's helping our clients double, triple their sales online. All right. And again, it's that little bit of effort, that little bit of change will make a big difference. And once you start seeing that bearing the fruit from your efforts, you'll start understanding and you're kind of given to the process a little bit. All right. Make sure you are following up with your leads as soon as possible. If you can't get to your phone, make sure there's somebody else that can. Whether you automate that through text message campaigns and emails, whatever the case may be, or you hire somebody that stays up all night to answer the phone, make sure you're doing that. Do not put 24/7 emergency service on your Google business profile and on your website and you don't answer the phone. If they leave a message, call them back. You got 10 minutes to catch them because they're going to bounce to the next guy who may have 500 people that are answering the phone and directing. It may be a call center that's just sending leads or a lead gen service, but you don't want to lose it to anybody. You want to keep those leads in-house. Make sure you're providing a top quality service. Make sure we talk about this in our webinar and our episode, the 2022 marketing plan. Quality service is huge. You have to understand who your target customer is, and it's somebody that's had property damage. And some of the things that they're afraid of, which you should know, is getting ripped off, having somebody leave their house in a worse situation than it was before, never completing the work. I don't know if, I'm down in South Florida. It's a big thing down here with pool companies. It's almost like a given in the industry that you're going to be waiting a long time to get your pool done. Don't be that guy in the restoration industry. Do what you say you're going to do. Do it correctly. Do the job like you would want somebody else to do the job in your home. And that's going to lead you to getting good Google reviews. It's going to lead you to getting good referrals. It's going to lead you from a content perspective to be able to get really good before and afters. So make sure that you can handle the amount of work that you have coming in. Make sure you're scaling properly to make sure that you're giving the quality of service that I know that you intend to. Nobody intends to start a business and they're going to do crappy work, right? But sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get overwhelmed. Make sure you're not in that situation. You have contingency plans. And a big part of any marketing plan, any business plan is understanding how you're going to scale and being ready for it, right? And a lot of times plans don't work, but at least you have some sort of semblance. You've already started thinking about how you're going to scale if you get 30 jobs in a month. You know, are you going to sub them out to somebody? Are you going to immediately bring on a new crew? And which is a big issue right now too, is finding labor, but have a plan, right? Plan A would be buy another truck, put 3 more guys on the ground. Let's handle these leads the right way. You follow up. Plan B may be subbing them out to a buddy of yours that has a restoration company. Plan C may be just not taking on that much work right off the bat and learning how to say no. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm super aggressive. I never say no. And it's gotten me into trouble at some points. That's why we're making these videos. We're making these episodes of the podcast to kind of help stop you from making the same mistakes that a lot of people make. All right. And make sure you're getting Google reviews. Make sure you have a review aggregation process implemented into your business for Google, for Facebook, for any offsite review program. Any review is a great one. But if you're going to concentrate on one, start with Google because we're relying on Google to send you leads, at least on the minimum side. And that's where people are going to hopefully find you most if you're doing a good digital marketing strategy. So that's it for this episode. If you guys want to check out some of our past episodes of the Restoration Rundown podcast, we talk a little bit more in depth of a lot of this stuff. Make sure you're liking this on whatever platform you're listening to or watching on. If you're on YouTube or on LinkedIn, subscribe to our podcast. We're literally on every single streaming service that you could possibly think about. Big ones being Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can listen to this stuff on your phone, digest this information, and go to work and implement some of these tips and tricks. You will see an increase in your leads. You're going to see an increase in your business processes being more efficient and streamlined if you follow these steps and you learn from other people's mistakes. And we see a lot of people making mistakes on a daily basis the more people we talk to. All right. So like, subscribe, share, check this out, listen to it in your car, and stay tuned. We're going to be having a couple episodes coming up. We're going to be bringing on a friend of ours that started multiple restoration companies. Going to talk about what they did correctly, some mistakes, what they would have to do things differently if they had to do it all over again. We're going to be bringing on some of our friends here at Ironclad Restoration Marketing and talk a little bit more in depth about how we got our start, things that we see, little problems in the industry. And I'm going to be making a video pretty soon about your Google business profile, all the changes that have come out, and how to properly leverage your Google business profile to get more leads. All right. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in.